Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulihi. Amma ba'da. I greet our listening audience with the greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum. And today, this morning, we're going to be looking at Surah 2, verse 74. And what we will do today, we're going to look at the grammar, and we're going to look at word meaning, and then I'm going to go to a tafsir that's written short by Jalalain, and then from the definitions that we get here of this dictionary by Abu Faris Dahdah, and from what we get from the tafsir, I will write a reflection. I'm going to call it a reflection because it will not be a translation. It's going to be, I call it a reflection because there are going to be extra words added, and I'm going to take the meaning from the dictionary and from the tafsir, from the meanings I get from those words, and write the reflection on the verse. So I'm showing you the method that this is one of the methods that we use in the Mali classes to teach the students how to read Arabic language and understand the Arabic language in relationship with the Qur'an, as well as how to understand how Arabic words help define Arabic words. Yet, it will make sense. But, once again, what I write it's not called a translation. So, let us begin. I'm going to read first the translation of the verse. That way, you will be able to follow somewhat. You will be able to follow or have an idea of what we're talking about. So the verse begins in English. He translates it. Then, even after that, your hearts were hardened and became as rocks, or worse than rocks, for hardness. For indeed, there are rocks from out which rivers gush, and indeed there are rocks which split asunder, so that water flows from them. And indeed, there are rocks which fall down for fear of Allah. Allah is not unaware of what you do. And that's the end of the verse. Okay, so let us look at the grammar of the verse. Summa, it says summa. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Summa. Summa is harfun atfun, meaning it's a conjunction particle, a particle of conjunction. And summa lets us know that there's sequence in this conjunction, and there's a time element, meaning that something came first before this verse that was mentioned. Then after a period of time, hasad occurred. Hardness occurred. Kasat is hard. It became hard. So Summa, even in terms of the time, Summa is saying that there's a lot of time in between. So the sequence is the first thing that's mentioned occurred, then what comes after it occurred, and there's a lot of time, relatively speaking, between the two. We had discussed before, when it's where, we're not sure of the sequence or the time. When it's fast, there's a sequence between the first and the second thing. First thing occurring first, that's mentioned, and the second thing mentioned occurring afterwards, with little to no time in between. Very little time in between. Where, fat, and summa. So, kind of remember those three conjunctions. Qasat is modern. So it tells us it's a verb. It's a verb, modern. And there is a key at the bottom of the pages, a color key chart. So if it's brown, it's telling us that it's built. It's mebni, meaning that the word is built. Past tense is built. It's built in that there's no change. It doesn't have inflections. So it doesn't change. So this is fi'lun madin. Qasat. It's past tense, and then this tag here he's telling us is harfun ta'nith. Harfun ta'nith is the feminine. It's a feminine particle. Harfun ta'nithun, a feminine particle. Or some speak of it as the feminine tag. The feminine tag. The Tanmabuta here, you hear some people referring to this as the feminine tag. But this is the tag, this is the tied tag. In English, we would say the tied tag. The tag was open, and then it was tied. It became tied. Like here, the tag is open. And now here, the tag is tied. So it's called tag marboot, the tied tag. This one is tag ta'nith, the feminine tag. And it's within the conjugation, as you learn your conjugation, thus it would be she, conjugated as she. Now, kulubukum, since kulubukum, your hearts, he translated, your heart, he's saying, is fa'il. It's the doer. It's the doer of the verb qasat. So the doer is named. Therefore, we wouldn't say she became heart, your hearts, to make sense in English. To make sense in English, it would be your hearts. Your hearts became hard. Your hearts became hard. And this kun, whenever this dhamma here is indicating the nominative. The dhamma is an indication of the nominative. And as we say in the rule, it's fa'ilun. Kun, whenever you have a pronoun, this is a pronoun, attached pronoun, kun. And if it's attached to a noun, it's going to be a possessive pronoun, we can say, and it is called the mudafun ilayhi. It is the second term possession of a possession construct, the possessive construct. We have two nouns. One noun possessing the other is called a possessive construct. And this is the second term possessive. The first term possessive would be kulub, your hearts, the hearts of you. Men is harfun jar. It is a preposition particle. Men is a preposition particle. So ba'adi is mas'ulun bihi. It's majrurun bihi. So whenever we have a preposition, as we have established in our lessons, the noun that follows is the object of the preposition. So you have jarun wa majrurun. So we would say the two, you always say the two together because nothing comes between them. Jarun wa majrurun, the preposition and the object of the preposition. Dhalika is the mudafun ilayhi of ba'di. So let me take a moment to explain here. In the history of grammar, because these rules of grammar were established after the revelation of the Qur'an. The Arabs, they spoke a certain way, especially the desert Arabs. They spoke a beautiful language. They had the best or the clearest expression of the people of the world in their language. They were already recognized for their language before the Qur'an was revealed. That's why they were called Arabs. They're called Arab not because of the color of their skin, not because of their features. They were called Arab because of their speech. And Arab means the one that has the clear speech. That's the Arab. So you can see at one time, everyone wanted to be an Arab because an Arab was the one who had clear speech. After the Qur'an is revealed, it is Muhammad the Prophet who have said, he who speaks Arabic is an Arab. So he's defined by, the Arab is defined by speech. Therefore, the Arab could be as white as snow with straight hair to black as coal with nappy hair. So the Arab is not defined by his features. He's defined by his speech. So they're Arabs. There are people that call themselves Arabs that live in Africa and is black as coal. But their speech, because they speak Arabic is their language, they call themselves Arabs. And there are people that are white, straight hair, white, and they call themselves Arabs. And they may be from Lebanon or even Turkey, in those regions. And they call themselves Arabs because Arabic is their tongue. Now, when the Qur'an comes, even though the people have been named Arab, and someone outside of them had to name them, because there was not enough unity amongst the Arabs to give themselves a name. Like right now, the African American. We're not satisfied being called Negro by an outsider. We're not satisfied, some of us are not satisfied being called black. Some of us are not satisfied with being called African American. But we can't, because we can't find any form of unity amongst us, we cannot name ourselves that all of us will agree with. We're in the same similar situation, but can make beautiful songs, take the English language and structure words and make the most beautiful songs. Got a beautiful voice. But we can't name ourselves because there's no unity amongst us to name ourselves. So someone else outside of us give us names. Black is not enough for all of us because all of us are not black. When you put the African American in the room, the African American color complexion goes from snow white to coal black. And all of the people, the color of all the people of the world, the various colors of all the people of the world are represented in the African American. So why should we just say we're black? Okay, another subject for another day. So there are two schools of thought, my point is, that developed after the Qur'an. The Qur'an comes, and the Qur'an, I would say, put the Arabs to shame in terms of expression and clarity. That they were challenged to write at least one verse better. Take the Arabic language and read the Qur'an, and then from its eloquence, its meaning, so forth and so on, its clarity, say it better. This is the challenge. Not only to the Arab is it a challenge, it's a challenge to the world. In any other language, take the Qur'an, what is said in the Qur'an in its Arabic language, with its clarity of and eloquence of Arabic, say it in any other language, clearer and more eloquent. As of today, no one has come forth and says, I can take this same thought and idea that is expressed in Quranic Arabic and express it clearer. It hasn't been done. So when we write a reflection from the Quran, we're not writing the Quran to make it clearer. We're writing something that we have gathered from the Quran by reflecting on it. Yes. And concise. You have to write it so it's just as concise as Allah has revealed it. So grammar, the science of grammar, developed after the revelation of the Quran, not before the revelation of the Quran. The speech was their natural speech. They didn't go to school to learn grammar. They went amongst the desert Arabs to learn how to speak clearly, but not grammar. They were not people that wrote books. They didn't read and write books. The Arabs were not that kind of people before the Quran comes. So there were no books of grammar. There were no rules of grammar. In the sense it was written rules of grammar. So this was developed afterwards. So two schools of thought. Just to give you a lesson about the Arabic language and grammar. There are two schools of thought that developed, and one of the schools says that the words like ba'di, or you may even see ba'da, are nouns that have become prepositions. And another school says, no, they are nouns that have become adverbs. And in them becoming adverbs of time or place, the noun that follows it becomes genitive because it is the mudafun ilayhi, the second term possessive. The other school says, no, these are nouns that have become prepositions. Therefore, the word that follow it is genitive as the object of the preposition. So here, the school that you're going to find in this book is going to say that this noun is like an adverb, even though here it may be a noun, acting as a noun itself, but we would see it in a structure acting as an adverb, like ba'da. And the noun that follows it is mudafun ilayhi. So there are only five nouns that are five prepositions that are detached and 3 prepositions that are attached to a word. There's 5 that are detached. Min, an, ale, fi, ile. Min, ale, ile, fi, an. 5 detached. And bi, li, ke. 5 letters that represent prepositions that are attached. Min dhalika. Let's continue. After that, your hearts were hard, became hard after that. Fahiyah, the fa here now is called harfun istitnaf. It's going to introduce a new thought. Istitnafun. So it's fa, hiya. Hiya is a detached pronoun. And it's mubtada'un, meaning a subject pronoun. So when you see even though it's attached to fahiyah, it's like a detached pronoun in the sense it's by itself. It's not attached to a noun or verb. Here it's attached to a particle, but in it being attached to a particle, it's treated as mubtada'un, a subject. But my point is, many times when you see this pronoun detached by itself, many times it's going to be like a subject pronoun. So here it's a subject pronoun. Or we could say, whenever the pronoun is attached to the particle, it just follows the rule of the particle. Whatever the particle, if this particle is not governing, since this particle fa doesn't govern this word hiya grammatically, then the hiya will be a mubtada'un. So you follow the particle that it's attached to. If it's attached to a preposition, then it will be the opposite of the preposition. It's attached to the fa doesn't have a grammatical influence upon this hiya, therefore it is the initiation of the new thought, and it's mubtada'un. Mubtada'un means to begin. It's the beginning of a new thought. It begins a thought. But technically in English, we call it subject. Whenever you have a mubtada'un, that should be a khabarun, a predicate, in order to have a complete thought. Here, kal hijarati, this ka here is, we were just talking, it's a harfun jarrun. It's a preposition particle, and this is an attached preposition. We have detached, the 5 detached, we have the 3 attached. This is one of the attached prepositions, ka. It shows likeness. So we would say like al-hijarati. And this al-hijarati is majrurun bihi. Jarun wa majrurun. Jarun wa majrurun bihi. The object of the preposition. And now above this box, there's no word, and it's the khabarun. The khabarun is mahdufun. The khabarun is dropped. This mean is the abbreviation of mahduf. Mahduf meaning that the preposition, the predicate is dropped. So now we want to read, we isolate. Let's isolate the prepositional phrase here, kal hijarati, and then if we read the subject with the predicate, it should make sense. If we put is or are most of the time before the predicate. So you would say she or it is such and such. Because we don't have the what it is here. It is such and such, like the rock. Like the rock. Now, in our reflection, though we will follow the grammatical sequence of the verse, we may or may not write in ellipsis. It's called the ellipsis. We may put the ellipsis in the meaning, but there are times when I may show you a reflection in English where we'll use 3 dots as the ellipsis. Show you that type of translation. There are different types of reflections or translations that you can do of the Qur'an. Different methods, different approaches you may have. The only thing is, when you're doing the whole Qur'an, it's very difficult because you have to consider when will you put something in, right in the translation, something of the ellipsis, and when will you not? When will you translate the metaphor and when will you not? When will you translate give a interpretation of the figurative speech, or when will you leave it as such? Because throughout the Quran, you're going to have metaphorical speech, or you're going to have figurative speech. You're going to have ellipses. So if you just do the Quran literally, word for word, try to find matching English words for word, it may not sound right to the English reader. So you have to determine the method you're going to use from the outset. Then, at the same time, every verse is reflective of the verse that comes before it. Every verse is in rhythm in meaning with the verse that comes before. So it's going to take a lot of thinking to keep the connection. Keep every verse connecting, even though it seems as though the Quran is switching themes midstream. But you have to keep the poetic flow going as you're translating from the beginning of the Quran all the way through. So it's not as easy as it appears. We're just isolating one verse and writing a reflection and ideas that we get from the one verse. That's why we cannot call it a translation, nor when we put in English, we cannot call it the Qur'an. It's not the Qur'an. Let's continue. Aw. Aw is also harfun atfun. This is also a particle of conjunction, aw. And aw means or. This is or. It's like the rock. It is something like the rock, or a shaddu. A shaddu is ma'atuf. Ma'atuf. And this is ma'atuf to, we could say it is ma'atuf, let's say, to the predicate. It is something like the rock or harder. Whatever it is, you can say it is hard. It is hard, thick, and solid, like the rock, or a shaddu, or stronger. It is strong, like the rock, because we're talking about the heart now. We're talking about the heart. The heart becomes kata, becomes strong. So it becomes strong like the rock. So it is strong like the rock, or stronger. So it makes it easy to put something that's easy now, or stronger. And this structure here, stronger, is in the comparative. This is a comparative structure. We'll talk about it another time. But it's a stronger, kaswatan. Kaswatan is tamyiz. This is tamyiz. It ends in tanween fatah because it is tanween. If the noun ends in fatah or tanween fatah, we know it's associated with the verb. Associated with the verb. But here, tamyiz it means that it may not be a verb, but it shows comparative. It's you're comparing or counting something. So here you're comparing hardness or strength. So it's stronger. This is the comparative. That's why we have the comparative form here of the word, meaning it's stronger in terms of hardness. So it is strong like the rock. If we put strong in here, but it is something like the rock or stronger in hardness. This is a metaphor here that we're giving here of the heart. Your heart became like a rock, strong like a rock, hard like a rock, or harder in hardness. What we want to do on Wednesday evening, we're going to read from another tafsir on the same verse, and there I will make longer comments on Wednesday. We're going to look at grammar today and the meaning. We want to get the meaning and grammar today, this morning. Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock p.m., God willing, we will give another tafsir that we will speak from, that's giving us a little more from the verse, and then we will make comments. The comments I will make will be based upon readings from Ibn Kathir. We'll read Ibn Kathir's commentary, because it's an easy commentary to read. I'm trying to keep everything as easy as I can in every reading for the students. But I will make comments taken from the readings of Ibn Arabi. That's a more philosophical in his writings, and from Imam W.D. Muhammad. My comments will be based upon those readings as we go through Ibn Kathir. Those are the three main sources that we will make our comments from. So I'm going to restrain from making a lot of comments this morning to concentrate on the grammar and the meaning and the grammar, but just a few comments that will lead into Wednesday's presentation. Kaswa 10. So this is tamyiz, meaning it shows distinction in terms of comparativeness or counting. Now this where is haliyah. It's haliyah. Now the where one we would say it's atfun, but if you want, you can say it's atfun haliyah. It shows the condition. Now, this is going to show us the condition of the hardness of what we said before, that is like a rock. So it is like the rock. We're going to show the condition in which the rock is in. So it says, Inna is harfun naskun. Harfun naskun is the abrogating particle. It abrogates. And it's going to abrogate what was originally a mubtada'un and a khabarun. It abrogates it. It becomes the ismu inna and khabaru inna, grammatically speaking. And it shows strength and emphasis to the expression of the subject and predicate. So, inna. Inna men again, harfun jar, is the preposition, jarun wa majrurun, and the object of the preposition. So surely from the rock, lama, this la, let me back it up just a little bit. There. This la is called mushalaka. Mushalakatun. Mushalakatun. The mushalakatun, well, let's go back. Here the capital ina is dropped. That would come before the ismu ina. So this would be called capital ina muqaddam, meaning that normally the predicate comes after the subject or the noun. Here he's showing that the predicate is coming before the ismu ina. We'll elaborate. We'll see it again, and then we will elaborate on it then. So, but the capital ina is dropped. So surely, some such and such is such and such, but the predicate is dropped. Then you have la mad. The la here is mushalaka. Mushalaka means this is the lamb. This lamb is the lamb that moves. It can move from its place. But let's say it's attached to mad, and the mad is ismu ina. This is the noun of ina. So normally it's in its right place now. It's mushalaka, but it's in its right place. It can move from the noun. It can move to the predicate. This la will move to the predicate. Is mushalaka. Some will say this la is associated with the ina. But sometimes I believe you will find mushalaka without the ina. Mushalaka. But they would say this la is associated with the ina, giving greater strength. Giving greater strength to the expression. Ina shows strength and emphasis. So this la used with the ina, it gives greater strength. But here it's called mushalaka. It's not called ta'keed, lam ta'keed. Ta'keed shows emphasis. You have lam ta'keed, you have lam mulqasam. They all, in a sense, they're functioning to show strength and emphasis, but under different circumstances or different names. I'll just say that much for right now. The Qur'an repeats itself so much, and that's how we're learning through repetition. So today, this is a rare situation where you would see mushalaka. So we won't give so much today. We hear it again, and then we can begin talking about it. As you see, the rules, they continue to repeat themselves. I continue to present it through repetition. We're going to learn as you continue. For those who can read the Qur'an, read the Arabic script, and you have had some exposure to grammar, and they're Mali students that are at a certain level of their lessons, that this is good for them also. It's quite a few students. So this is healthy. During the month of Ramadan, my intention is to do what I'm doing today, do it every morning after Fajr. We'll do grammar, we'll do meaning, and then we'll write a reflection every day from the Qur'an. Maybe we'll take a verse from the reading each day. 1/30 of the reading, we'll take one of the verses from one of the readings, one part of the reading each day. And we will do what we're doing today. That way, at the end of Ramadan, we should have a stronger perception of reading Qur'an grammatically. Also, what I will do during the month of Ramadan is the beginning Arabic. That in 30 days, you should be able to read the script slowly. We'll go over and over the beginning, just the beginning Arabic for those who cannot read at all. You want to join us during the month of Ramadan. every morning after Fajr. And Fajr occurs at dawn. I will give the times. We'll have a time. Maybe we'll have a time like 6 o'clock every morning or 5:30 every morning, 5:30. And we will cover this in the morning. Maybe we'll use 5:30, depending on the time of Fajr. So since Fajr now is about 6 o'clock, of course, it will be earlier within by May. Lama. Yatafajjaru is mudari'un. Mudari'un means it's a present tense verb. It's indicative of the verb with the ya that's added. We added the ya to make it present tense verb, and the shadda here will let us know it's either form 5 or form 2. We go and look. If there's a ta, you have the 3 root letters, fajara. Now we have a tag here, so because we have a shadda and a tag, it lets us know it's form 5. Form 5 means that the action occurs from within. So here we see the word fajr. We see the word fajr. So fajr has the idea of breaking, like dawn, the break of dawn, fajr. When the sun comes, the light is breaking. In the sky, it's fajr. But here, we're not talking about the sky. We're talking about the rock. The rock. Yatafajjaru, it breaks. Minhu, from it, al-anharu. So minhu is jadun wa majrurun. I'm going to go a little faster now. Jadun wa majrurun. Preposition, object of the preposition. And al-anharu is in a dhamma. It's a noun is in dhamma. So that lets us know it's pink. Pink indicating that it is the nominative, marfu'un, and therefore the rule is fa'ilun. It's the subject of the verb. Go back. The verb is yatafajjaru. Yatafajjaru is the verb. So this is the subject of the verb. We isolate the prepositional phrase. Then let's read the subject of the verb with the verb, and it's the rivers. The rivers, he says, the rivers gush. The rivers break. They break. The rivers are coming out of the rock. This is the condition. This condition. The rock is hard, but rivers come out of the rock. Normally when you look at a rock is so hard that water, you would think of water coming from a rock. But here rivers gush. Rivers are gushing out of the rock. It breaks. It's breaking from it. The rivers are breaking from it. That's the literal idea. It's breaking from the rock. Rivers. Gushing out, shooting out. So we're talking about qulubukum, your hearts. This is talking about your heart. And there's some, their hearts are so hard. They're so hard, they want to give you the impression that they're so hard that they won't cry. Tears will not flow. But here it's telling us that even from rocks that's hard, solid, the rock will cry. Yes. We see some hardened criminals. They call them hardened criminals. Hard criminals. And they can get before an old judge, old lady, an elderly lady, soft, very soft, hands soft, can't lift 20 pounds. And they are fall apart and cry like that hard rock, cry like a baby. And then the ones who put handcuffs on them, go and lock them in a cage like an animal. They're just as soft as tissue. But the ones locked up are hard. Goes out in the yard, lift weights, rock hard criminals being locked up by the softest of people, bodily speaking, and perhaps mentally speaking. like that lion, ferocious lion, locked up in a zoo. Yes, we fear the lion, but we have the lion locked up. So it's not in the body of the lion. We haven't defeated him in a bodily sense. We defeated him in a mental sense. We control him mentally. We're able to outthink the lion and lock him up behind bars. Same with hardened criminals. See him break down. We need to change that image of us. There's too many African Americans that are in that condition. So here it's talking about people whose hearts become hard. We'll make more consequences. Where is harfun atfun? It's a conjunction. In that, again, it's harfun nasfun. It's a particle, an abrogating particle. And after it, we have min ha. Min ha, the min is the harfun jar, a preposition. And ha becomes the majlulun bihi, object of the preposition. And again, we have capital inna. So this inna, the capital inna, is dropped. And we again have lamah, as we went over already. Mushalakatun. It's the particle. It's the particle that moves, that can move from its place, as well as we could say show emphasis associated with inna. And then we have ismu inna, the noun of inna, where the predicate of inna is dropped. So we read it. Let's read it. It would say inna. We isolate the prepositional phrase. We would say inna ma. Then what? Then surely what is such and such, because this is dropped. Surely what? Because this ma means whatever. Whatever is such and such. From it, of it. Whatever is such and such of it. Yeshaktaku. Yeshaktaku. It splits. It splits. This ma here is like a relative noun. It's functioning like a relative noun. So this expression that comes after it is related to the ma. It's a relative phrase. So surely what? Surely what? You would say splits. Is such and such from it. Or surely what is such and such splits. It splits. The idea here is that whatever the substance, whatever the hardness, it splits. It cracks. We say crack. They bring the criminal in, they want to make him crack. Break him. Same language used. We're going to break this hard heart. We're going to make him crack. And the fa'il of this expression here is implied. The subject of the verb is implied as huwa, meaning he. He or it cracks. Whatever it is, it cracks. That's the idea. Surely, we can say whatever it is, it cracks. You'd be surprised how much America has borrowed from the Qur'an. Fa harfun atfun yakhruju. Yakhruju. So we've been over the harfun atfun many times. This is a conjunction. And this conjunction, meaning it's going to tie. It's going to tie yakhruju with yashaku. Yashataku. Yashataku. It's going to tie it. So he's going to say here, say yakhruju is fi'lun madin, mudari'un is a present tense verb, and as soon as it cracks, yakhruju, it comes out, something comes out. So we have minhu, we have again, jarun wa majrurun, preposition min, obviously the preposition hu, we isolate it, and we have al-ma'u. Al-ma'u is in the dhamma, it's a noun, al-ma'u, and it's going to be the subject of the verb. It is called fa'ilun. We go back, the verb is yakhruju. So we're going to say as soon as it cracks because of fa, meaning it cracks first. Then yakhruju comes out, the water comes out from it. So it cracks, and then fa, the water comes out from right away. Not a time after, the water comes out. Now here the water just comes out, it flows out. The first one is telling us that rivers gush, streams, they gush out of the rock. Because mountains are rocks, big rocks, and rivers come out of the mountains. Mountains produce rivers. But here also, it just comes out. Water comes out. But it's not gushing out in this sense. That's the second. And then we have water that may, yes, it comes out of the rock. As I said, we'll do more. We'll look at it more on Wednesday. But ina min ha, and then, and surely from the rock. Min ha. Let's go back to look at something here. Yes, min ha. The ha is talking about the rock. His ha goes back to rock. Ina min ha, and it is, ina, it again is harfun naskhun. Min ha would be the jarun. Jarun means preposition. And where majrurun bihi, opposite of the preposition ha. With the same structure, the capital ina is dropped, and the la you have muthalaka, and the ma here, the lam is muthalaka, and the ma is ismu ina. Then we're going to have, again, the phrase here that's following the ma, yahbitu. Yahbitu is fi'lun mudari'un, it's the present tense verb. The present tense verb, whereas the fa'il, the object of the subject of the verb, is implied in huwa in the conjugation of the verb. So this evening, around 7 o'clock, we should be dealing with, or 7 o'clock or after, we should be dealing with conjugations. And we're going to have examples of the present tense conjugations this evening. I'm going to say at 7 o'clock, but it may be after 7. However, all of this is recorded. Everything is recorded. Okay. So now it falls. It falls. Min khashyati. Min is jarun, wa majrurun, preposition, object of the preposition, from the fear, being humble and fear Allahi, of Allah, and Allah is being mudafun ilayhi. Khashyati is the first term possessive, and Allah is mudafun ilayhi, the second term possessive. So here are three things. We're talking about the heart. And the heart becomes hard But even in its hardness of the rock, even in its hardness, yatafajaru and haru. Rivers gush forth. Yes, 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 shakaku. Also form 5. At, it splits. Here it breaks. You say it breaks, it splits, and then water come from it. And it also falls. Falling rock from the fear of Allah. It breaks, it splits, and it'll fall from its high mighty place to a lower place. Min khashyatillah. That's what it would do to a hard heart. Yes. Okay. Where melahu, ma is functioning here as a harfun naskun. The harfun naskun, so Allahu becomes ismu ma. Ismu ma is the noun of ma. And ma is abrogating. Like ina abrogates. But in the abrogation, the ismu ma here takes on the dhamma instead of fatha. Ina ismu ma, ismu ina, the mubtada'un takes on the fatha. But this is ismu ma. Ismu ma, the ismu ma here takes on the dhamma. So Allahu grammatically is the ismu, is the noun of ma. Begafilin, we have harfu jar, but it's za'idun. This is saying that this be, though it is a preposition here, though it is a preposition, is za'id, meaning that it's just here in terms of redundance. It's not, the meaning is not preposition. So you don't say that وَمَا Allahu and Allah Allah is not. This gives the idea of not. Allah is not. You don't say with gafilin. So let's go back and look at his translation so I won't give you something different. So you say Allah is not, here is gafilin, is unaware. You will see in my reflection, I'll use something else. But gafilin is unaware. So you say, you don't translate it, Allah is not with unawareness, you could say. If you said it in a sound right, it would be fine because we're talking translation again. But it doesn't function in that sense. So you say Allah is not unaware. The true sense of this gafilin is not, it is not majrurun bihi, but it's khabarul ma. So in it being khabarul ma, it will be Allah is not, it should be gafilun. Gafilun. وَمَا اللَّهُ gafilun. Allah is not unmindful. Allah is unmindful, not mad. Allah is unmindful mad. But this be here is put here in terms of redundance. This is the idea that he's giving here grammatically. But all grammarians does not agree on every point. Like I showed you earlier, but there were two major schools. And from those major schools, you have the schools of grammarians that comes from those two. So he said this is capital math instead of it being majrurun bihi. Amma, an, this is an. You have an, and this an here is connected with ma. When you put them together, you have amma. You can put a shadda on it, and it becomes amma. Amma. Amma, whereas the first meme has sukoon, and the second meme here has the fatha. Amma. And they both together is a jad and majrurun. An ma. About what? Literally, about what? Allah is not unaware about what? Ta'amaluna. Ta'amaluna is fi'lun mudari'un, present tense verb, and this wow in this structure, he's saying here, this wow here that you see that's apparent is the fa'il. It's a sign of the subject of the verb, meaning you, masculine plural. What you do. And of course, ta'maluna is we could say, a relative phrase of math. I'll say that much right now. Allah is not unmindful about what? And this helps understand what, meaning what you do. Ta'maluna. So that is the grammar. That's the grammar of the verse. Now let's go to meanings. Let's look at the meanings. These sessions, I guess I'm stretching it out to take a little time here. These are lessons. You can get recordings. Some of you are coming and going. I can't see. I don't have a screen up to see who's with us. But yes, we will continue and hope you're benefiting from the lesson. Now, the meaning. We have yes, let's go through the meaning. Okay, we have kasat. The first word is kasat. Summa kasat, he said. Summa kasat. And kasat, he says, gulivat, or galuvat. Galuvat was salobat. Galuvat was salobat. Galuvat means to be thick, coarse, tough. That's galuvat. And where salobat is hard. That which is hard. Salobat, hard. Something that becomes hard. So what we will do in our reflection now, to show you the idea, we're going to take thick, coarse, and hard for kasat as we write the reflection. Then kulubukum is jam'u qalbin. It is the plural of qalbin. Qalbin is singular, kulub is plural. Hearts. So kulub is hearts, it's plural. Kulub. Where yutlabu ala el aqli. And this expression here, yutlaku ala el aqli, is that it is the absolute validity upon intelligence. So it gives absolute validity, we say, to intelligence. That's what the qalbin, that's the heart. And this is the heart. This is what is being addressed. We will show in our commentary how we're not talking about a heart. The heart becoming calcified. Then it becomes hard like rock salt. But we're talking about something more philosophical in terms of that which gives validity for intelligence. So we will use this. Hijara. El-Hijarati, the word for rock. Now, for the students now, when you're looking at the Arabic here, that's defining the word here, El-Hijara. So we know Hijara, it says we're using as rock. As rocks. We're using rocks for El-Hijara. So the meaning here should have something, when you're looking up these words, it should have something to do with rocks. So you have an idea already about the word. In most cases, these Arabic words are defining an Arabic word. So it's mufraduhu harajun. So its singular is harajun. So he could have even said this is the plural of harajun. Yes, hajarun. 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 Mufraduhu hajarun. Its singular is hajarun. Maddatun, salabatun, or salubatun, or salubatun. Salabatun, jabaliyatun, meaning that it is mountainous. Jabaliya, Jabal is a mountain, or a rock, or a hill, a mountain. So I would say mountainous. Mountainous, and Salabatun is hardened, and Matdatun is substance. So it's a mountainous, hard substance. That is a very strong. Mountainous means very strong. Strong, very strong, hard substance. That's al-hijara. Ashaddu, which we said is stronger, is aqwa, meaning it's stronger. Aqwa is another word to say stronger. Ashaddu, stronger. Qaswatan, in terms, it means hardness, is galivan, or gilavan. Gilavan was salabatan, which we had these two words meaning thickness and hardness for kaswatan. Same we had for kata. And yatafajjaru, we have yatafajjaru. We said yatafajjaru is yanbathu sa'ilan. Here we said it's to break. It breaks. But it meaning that it rises. Sa'ilan. It rises as a fluid. So if the fluid is rising up from it, what is the fluid is rivers. But as a fluid, it is called to rise as a fluid. And of course, we can give more meaning to this. Here we have al-anhar, or rivers. The fluid here is rivers. Yet shattaku, we said here, cracks. So yatasadda'u is cracks. That's the word for cracks. It cracks. So here you're seeing Arabic defining Arabic. It cracks. Wa asluha yatashaqqaqu. So he's saying here that its root. Asluha, its root or its origin is yetashakaku. But here it is utgimat, atta'u fi ashin. That the ta, atta'u, the ta is assimilated in the sheen. So let me explain what he's saying here. That ordinarily it's yeteshakaku with the ta here. But if you notice up here, let's go up here where we can see it clear, there is no ta. And the sha here is placed on the sheen. Here there is no shetta, the shetta. The shetta is on the sheen. But here there is no shetta on the sheen. So the ta here is assimilated into the sheen. It becomes yes shad, because the ta has been assimilated into the sheen. That's what he's saying. It's form 5, yet shataku is form 5, yes. But you don't pronounce the ta because it's assimilated into the sheen, as though there are two sheens. But there's not two sheens, there's a ta in the sheen. The shet that shows a ta in the sheen. It has been assimilated. But it is pronounced yes shataku instead of yet shataku. That's what he's saying here. But this is telling you about the word, whereas yetesatta'u is defining the word. So we will use the definition. But that helps you understand the word when you're reading it. Yakhruju yubarizu, meaning that it is yakhruju, I'm sorry. Yabruzu. Or yabrazu. Meaning that it comes out. Another word defining it. To come out. Yahbitu, yanhadiru, meaning that it descends. Yahbitu, it descends. وهبوط الهجارة يراد به انقيادها لأمر الله. So he says, and the descension, habutu al-hijarati, of the rocks, yuradu is intended by it, he intends by it, inqiyaduha li amrillahi, that its obedience to the command of Allah. It's obeying or it's obedience to the command of Allah. That's what he means by the idea of the falling of the rock. It's showing its obedience to the command of Allah. And khashyati, here, khashyati is khawfi, fear. He's using fear to define khashyati. Gafilin sahin. Gafilin, he says here, unaware, but is being defined as sahin. Sahin means to forget, to be absent-minded or forgetful. And ta'maluna is yaf'aluna, meaning actions. Actions or doings. About your actions. What you do. What your actions are. Allah is not forgetful about your actions. Okay. Now, let's go to we want to go to the tafsir. Let's take a look at the tafsir. So, let's go over the Arabic again. Keep our bearings. Just the Arabic. ثُمَّ قَصَتْ قُلُوبُكُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ ذَلِكَ فَهِيَ كَالْحِجَارَةِ أَوْ أَشَدُّ قَسْوَةً وَإِنَّ مِنَ الْحِجَارَةِ لَمَا يَتَفَجَّرُ مِنْهُ الْأَنْهَارُ وَإِنَّ مِنْهَا لَمَا يَشَّقَّقُ فَيَخْرُجُ مِنْهُ الْمَاءُ وَإِنَّ مِنْهَا لَمَا يَهْبِطُ مِنْ خَشْيَةِ اللَّهِ وَمَا اللَّهُ بِغَافِلٍ عَمَّا تَعْمَلُونَ. Now let's take a look at the tafsir. This tafsir is from Jalalain. And I have picked out Jalalain I have chosen Jalalain because it's short. He's going to give you short meanings of the verse, and I'm going to combine the meanings from Abu Faris and the meanings here of Jalalain to write a reflection. So in the reflection, you could say that there is a cross between reflection and commentary. So we say, ثُمَّ قَسَتْ قُلُوبُكُمْ, in this part, then your hearts became hard. I'm giving you the literal here first. He says, أَيُّهَا الْيَهُودُ, O Jews, O Jews. It's addressing the Jews, Yahud, based upon what came before this verse. This verse is addressing the Jews that came before. So he's saying to the Jews. But I would caution, even though it's addressing the Jews in the scripture, I would caution you not to apply this literally to the Jews in the social life, in the present social life. That once the Jews enter into the scripture, because Allah is creating the mythology, I'm going to say. But some of you may agree or may not agree. There are even some who say I shouldn't be doing this. You know, the people saying this are not scholarly people. These are people who have been trained not to think. They come from countries where you don't have critical thinking. In order for you to show any form of critical thinking, you have to get permission. You have to go down to the office, to the principal, and get a pink slip that shows permission that you have the right to think critically in the public. Many of the Muslim countries are like this. You can't teach the Qur'an in the public. You can't teach the Qur'an at all unless you have permission from some authority, a written license to teach Qur'an in the public. So, since I don't have such paper from whatever country, Americans don't have the right to do this. That's the type of place they come from. But here in America, according to the Constitution of America, the United States of America, we have the right of freedom of speech and freedom of assembly. Not just a right, it's a liberty. It's a liberty to have the freedom of assembly. We have a liberty to have freedom of speech. So therefore, with those two liberties, I can make a speech to an audience without having to go to the principal's office to get a slip. As long as my audience that I am addressing, I am not hindering upon or disturbing upon someone else's freedom of assembly and freedom of speech. And the freedom of the press. I have a right to write it. The freedom of speech, the freedom of assembly, the freedom of the press, and the freedom of religion. So, if where you come from, you have a sheikh that have issued some type of fatwa and telling you that you can't speak, you don't have these freedoms. You're not wired to have these four freedoms. You can't come to America and impose that political situation on me in America, because I'm exercising my four freedoms, and I'm saying this in the sense of I'm not saying this to make a problem for anyone. So I don't want to make a problem even for my Jewish friends, that you would read this and think that we're talking about you. No. My point is this, that Allah is the best to create the mythologies. So the scripture we could say is read like the mythology, meaning that it has to be read twice, which we're going to do. Allah is teaching us. It's teaching us how to read mythology. In the mythology, there are allegories, metaphors, figurative language within the mythology. But also in it is plain speech. It's the plain speech that's going to help us understand the mythological speech, the whole mythology. If I could, I'm putting it in this language. So what I'm saying is that when the Jews, when we're talking about the Jews into the scripture, it no longer has, I no longer give it historical reference. I no longer give it literal reference. It's now a symbol in the mythology. If you understand what I'm saying, then you would not go to the movie, to the theater, where they're reading from scripts. They're given scripts to read and act and personify. Personify, they take their personal self and personify a character that represents something that's not visible. You would not go to the theater and watch a movie and come home and take the movie to be real and look for historical facts that you can apply from the movie. You're like a little child watching a movie. You go watch Superman, and you really think there's a Superman that goes in a phone booth? That's the last one I saw. I don't know what the new one does, because I know there's no phone booths. Change clothes and can fly with a cape? And you actually take that in your mind and make it real? That you're looking for a Superman to come and rescue you? The same mistake you make in religion and reading scripture. It's just as silly. So this idea here. So the idea is that it's not so much the historical reference, whether it occurred or not, historically. Allah is taking something from what we know that we can identify with and put it in the mythology. It becomes mythology when Allah uses it. It's no longer historical. But Allah has to give us something that we know to help us to see the higher universal realities that we don't know. This is the position that I'm taking here. With my 4 freedoms, not to harm anyone as I exercise my liberties. Liberties. So those of you who come from those other countries, with your political situation that they have caused you to think it's religious, no. And if you want to, we can read Qur'an and Hadith to prove that America got its 4 freedoms from the Qur'an, influence from the Qur'an in its freedoms. So the doors of critical thinking is not closed in America. Ayyuha al-Yahud, O Jews, salubat an qabuli al-haq, that heart, salubat, becomes hardened about the presence or the acceptance of truth. The Jews, he became, or she became, or it became, or they became hardened about the acceptance of truth, towards acceptance of truth. Min ba'di dhalika, from the verse, from after that. Al-mazkuri min إحياء القتيل وما قبله من الآيات. It's from after that, meaning after the mentioning of the life, giving life to the one who was dead, who was killed. This is talking about the verse before, because we have Thumma. We have Thumma then, a time after mentioning, or it was brought about, mentioning of the life, the causing of the life to the one that was dead. And what was before of the ayat, of the verses, the verse that was before. So there were verses before. This is following up. As I was saying earlier, it's attached to verses that came before. Perhaps it was a true occurrence in history, or not a true occurrence in history, but it has been used in the mythology that Allah has created here. And don't accuse me of using the term mythology. I'm not speaking from your schools when I say mythology. I'm speaking from Scripture when I say mythology. Yes. Methalan, the study of methal. Mythology is the study of methal, or mythal, mythology. And Allah gives the mythology. That's just the help. فَهِيَ كَالْهِجَارَةِ, thus it is like the rocks. فِي الْقَسْوَةِ, in hardness. In hardness. Yes. So the heart is like the rock in hardness. So here we have a simile in the metaphor. And the simile is the heart is like the rock in hardness. أو أشد قسوة, or stronger in hardness. Minhu, of it, from it. Stronger from it in hardness. وَإِنَّ مِنَ الْحِجَارَةِ لَمَا يَتَفَجَّرُ مِنْهُ الْأَنْهَارُ وَإِنَّ مِنْهَا لَمَا يَشَقَّقُ. So here he's explaining fihi idgamu. Idgamu ta, meaning the assimilation of the ta that we explain like in Abu Faris. That the ta here is assimilated in the sheen. So he's giving the same thing here. Fihi idgamu ta. Fi asli fi sheen. In the root of the sheen, in the sheen, in the root. So the ta that's in the root is assimilated in the sheen, which we have gone over already. So that's not a meaning that we get there. That's about the word, as we said before. فَيَخْرُجُ مِنْهُ الْمَاءُ وَإِنَّ مِنْهَا لَمَا يَهْبِطُ. He's saying here, and the water comes out from it, and surely from it, it falls. He's putting this, he's using these together. Meaning yanzilu, it falls. Here he's defining yanzilu. Meaning yanzilu, it falls, min uluwen ila suflen. It meaning it descends. Here now is the word yanzilu. We had another word for descend. Now here's a third word for descend. So it descends from high. Uluwen is a high place to a lower place. From higher to the lower. It falls from a high place to a low place. So we use this. What we'll do, we're going to use this meaning in our reflection. These are the meanings. We'll go over and circle it. We'll circle it, and then we'll show it in our reflections. From the fear of Allah, وَقُلُوبُكُمْ لَا يَتَأَثَّرُ وَلَا تَلْيَنُ وَلَا تَخْشَعُ. It says, and your hearts, they do not become impressed. That it's hard. Your heart is hard. You can't make an impression on your heart. It's too hard. And it's not lenient. And it is not humble, soft, humble. Your heart, it's not impressionable. You touch it, it doesn't leave a fingerprint or anything. That's how hard it is. It's not soft, lenient, and meaning that it's not humble. So we'll take this meaning here and use it in our reflection for the idea of khashati Allahi. Yahbitu. Khashati Allahi. وَمَا اللَّهُ بِغَافِلٍ عَمَّا تَعْمَلُونَ وَإِنَّمَا يُؤَخِّرُهُ لِوَقْتِكُمْ. Means surely him delaying you of your time. Him delaying you of your time. Meaning gafilet. He's not unaware, meaning that surely he delays you of your time. Meaning gafilet, he's not unaware of you, but he's delaying you of your time. In terms of what you do. And here he's going to say, what's the qira'atin, and in a reading, you have it's with the tahtaniyah. Tahtaniyati, meaning that the dots, instead of the dots being above, the dots are below. This comes from the word meaning below. Meaning ya'maluna. Instead of ta'maluna, it's ya'maluna. It will be they know instead of you know. وَفِيهِ الْإِلْتِفَافِ عَنْ الْكِتَابِ. So in it is the lightening, making it lighter or softer upon the one that it is speaking to. The second person. That makes the second person. Yeah, makes the third person. So the third person is used to make it even lighter. And I would even say the third person is used in that it's not addressing the Jews so much directly as it may switch. The Quran may switch in terms of in the metaphor is making it general. When you say using they, it becomes general instead of specific. You're pointing to someone, second person specific, you. But if you say they, it makes it more general now. So this is the idea that some may read it with a yeah, so that you would get the idea that we're not talking so much in the historical perspective of the Jew. I know this is going to be very difficult in this time and climate that some of you are still fighting. You're fighting these wars and battles. It's not popular for me to say what I'm saying. But here in America, if you have not been influenced by a lot of the prejudices of other people or the political system, if you read it in Qur'an outside of the political system and not incorporating the political system, then that's how I would read it. And that's how I'm reading it. Though, when I read the Qur'an, I'm going to apply it to my own situation. My own life that I'm faced with, that I'm in. Okay. So what we're going to do now, in conclusion, we're going to take the meaning. We take the meaning of the words here. Salbet and Kabul al-Haq. And we're going to take the meaning al-Mazkuru, Ihya al-Fatih. And we take the meaning, we go down now, we're going to take the meaning of, we take the mentioning of one that was killed and you're not accepting the truth. And we take the meaning of it descends from a high place to a low place. It's very short. And your heart is not impressed or lenient or humble. We take these meanings here, and he delays you in of your time. He delays you of your time. We will use these. We're going to use the meaning here in our reflection that replaces the words in the text in right our reflection. And if we go back to Abu Faris, we'll do the same thing. We're going to use, along with Jalalain, we'll take the meanings that we got from Abu Faris and write them in for the words that it was defining. So now let's read reflections that we get from it. In our reflections, we're going to say, your organ, which is your heart. So we use organ. Your organ that gives absolute validity for intelligence became thick and hard of you avoiding the acceptance of truth after the mentioning of the one killed. Hope you're seeing it now. It became like a mountainous hard substance, it meaning the organ, became like a mountainous hard substance or stronger in terms of rigidity and resistance. Rivers and streams rise and gush forth from such hard substance, or we say from such light substance, hard substance. Surely such rock, like hardness, surely from such rock-like hardness is that which cracks, thereby water flows. And surely it falls from high to lower places in compliance with the command of Allah, the Amrilahi, while fearing Him. Though your heart may not be impressed, nor lenient or humble. Maybe my English is not correct here. Someone knows English can correct me on how I use these words here. Nor and or. And not. I'm not an English. My English fails me at times. So you understand what I'm saying. Though your heart may not be impressed, nor lenient or humbled of His existence, Allah's existence, Allah is not absent-minded of your actions and delaying you of your time. This is our reflection. You can see how I wrote this reflection from using the sources of Abu Farid and Jalalain. But I cannot say, again, that this is the Qur'an. This is not the Qur'an. This is not the Qur'an. This is a reflection that I have gathered from reading the Qur'an. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, I thank you for your time and patience in listening to this presentation today. Peace be upon you all. Assalamu alaikum.